While the Cardinals watched Micah Parsons get traded to the Green Bay Packers, did they need him? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Go to the YouTube channel, man. Search Locked On AZ Cards. You know the drill. I've been doing this 9 damn seasons. You know where to find me. Got a lot to talk about today. I've got a great guest who I haven't brought on yet, and it's crazy. We've both been in the space. I mean, I've been here 15. He's been here a little bit longer. Excited to pick his brain about Micah Parsons not becoming an Arizona Cardinal, deal or no deal, the new jerseys, the rivalry jerseys, and I have an interesting spin that I want to present to him, and he can tell me if I'm crazy or not, among other things. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Without further ado, Bink, Mark McClune, sports director over at AZ Family. Dude, thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. So thanks for having me on. And, you talking about kind of your history here covering the team. I'm trying to think back. So it was 2011, your first year, like the Wisenhunt years with Lindley? What are we talking here?
Yeah, it was very light. Kwame Lassiter actually gave me my start in radio. He had a radio show. He's like, hey, let's see. And then kind of the rest is history. So, yeah, you were here a little bit longer, right? You're almost 20 years.
Yeah, got here in 06. And, one of my first times going to the Cardinal locker room was Antrell Roll. And he grabbed Scott Player's helmet. Remember, Player had the face mask. He was the punter, and he wore hockey pads. And so I was interviewing him, and I was like, hey, would you ever wear that helmet? And so that was like my first interview was Antrell Roll playing with Scott Player's face mask. And what a run it's been. I guess it's been all downhill since then.
Well, so here's the thing, Mark McClune of AZ Family. This is kind of where I've been standing with this team. Like, people, like, there's been false hope for years. Everybody, the fans, everybody's like, oh, it's a new year. Everybody has that, that completely irrational thought. This could be the year they go 16-0. It's with baseball. Like, you start with a clean slate. But this year, and over the last couple of years, incrementally, we've seen concrete changes that rationally make you believe that things will be different. Is there a world in your mind where the Cardinals are less than equipped to make a run this year? And whatever run means.
I think if it's not knocking on the door at the playoffs or a playoff run, I'm going to be disappointed. I think that the best is yet to come for this team as they build this team in the trenches, and you just look at the defensive line and you're like, how are you going to stop these guys? I mean, just the fact that you signed Dalvin Tomlinson, would you want to block that man even if you weighed 300 pounds and were 6'4"?
No.
I want it. And I just think about the depth they have coming off the edge. It's going to allow some younger corners to not have to defend as long. I think your safeties, you're in a really good spot there. Everybody's kind of high on their offensive line. I want to see him. I want to see him in action another year. But I bet this starts and stops with Kyler. And I think he knows it. We had a good conversation, a good sit down. It's going to air on the news as we're taping this in about an hour and a half. And then it was in the extra point last night. And he seems pretty relaxed. He seems pretty poised. He knows what's on the line, and he's ready to turn it loose. And I think if everybody stays healthy, the Cardinals, we're going to have a fun year here.
Yeah, it's all that's right. I mean, it is on Kyler. It's been on Kyler. The thing is with Kyler, I've never been in my world ever seen a more polarizing character. It's crazy because it's like all of it is confirmation bias, irrespective of what side of the aisle you're on. It's like, well, Kyler, look at how great he's done it these times. They didn't have a defense. The offensive line, the right side of the offensive line was out the entire of the year. Or, hey, he's reached the ceiling. This is what it's going to be, and live and die with him. Mark, the thing that I struggle with more than a lot of things on this show when I try to discuss is, say they put Kyler Murray on the trade block. 13 teams would call. There's power in that. Maybe more. Like, it's not even a W-no situation because he's a good dude. He works really hard. People love him. Like, I'm in the camp now where you don't have to have your quarterback be your best player to win a Super Bowl. It could be the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I think that's where we are right now.
Are you just saying Kyler, the game manager, can get the job done? Just go out there and, just hand the ball to James Conner. Just throw us a quick slant. Just get it to Trey McBride. Maybe kick some field goals. You got a great field goal kicker, and just, maybe run in for a touchdown. I mean, you're good with 23-17. Like when he came in the league, I thought he was going to be like the Steph Curry of the National Football. I still think he has that ability. I think there has been so many instances of there's been some great moments. It's just been kind of all or nothing, and I think people hang on to the nothing until we get the all again, and then everybody's like, "This is the greatest thing ever." We've got the greatest player of all time. It's very emotional, and I'm here for it because it's kind of good for business.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like my first game. No. His first game. Sorry. We're in the box against Detroit. He brings them back on this miraculous comeback. Cliff Kingsbury was joking, said he thought he was going to get fired at halftime. And they were a Tremaine Brock dropped off his chest plate ball interception from winning that game. That's not normal. Like the thing that I struggle with most, like to bring this in for a landing is like when he's at his peak, 4 quarterbacks can be there. The worst quarterbacks will never see it. Trevor Lawrence will never see it. All these guys that he's comped with don't get that high. So if you can raise that floor, yeah, I mean, elite game managers are who win Super Bowls. And it looks different. Like Patrick Mahomes hasn't done anything special the last Super Bowl run. Like he makes plays when they absolutely need it with a little special thrown in. So, I mean, that's kind of where I am with him. Like this is the most complete roster he's been on, right? I mean, we'll talk about weaknesses here in a minute, but like by and large, is this team ready to roll for you? Like, would you feel duped if they didn't win 10 plus games?
Yes, I would. Now, I've lived in Arizona long enough and I watched the Diamondback season to know anything is possible. And so I think that this coaching staff has been building to this moment. I mean, James Conner, hand him the ball and let him cook. And I feel like, the defense is going to play very well. It's kind of like I'm a Texas fan, man. I got to see Arch Manning go out and I need like 3 throws here to be like, we're good. It's just, I think the deal is with Kyler, when you see moments like the interception against the Chiefs in the preseason, it takes everybody back to some negative moment that they're still hanging on to, that they maybe haven't cleared. And then you don't go back to the Raiders game when he was incredible. And that was, pre-knee injury. And he says, I asked him in the news conference, one of the news conferences during training camp, he said the knee is about as close to as it was 2 years ago. It finally is back. So I think there's a comfort level there. I think Kyler Murray does some things exceptionally well, maybe as good as any quarterback in the NFL. But again, when you see an interception like that against the Chiefs, that just divides the room right down the middle. And, what's the old line? Like, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So, as long as everybody's talking about this, let's see what we get rolling out there on September the 7th. Would
you have jumped on the Micah Parsons wagon?
Absolutely. I don't think you probably needed to when you with the guys that you have rushing the passer right now from the outside. Now, that being said, you could always figure something out. But I do think with Josh Sweat, and Baron Browning potentially. I mean, what you put like Robinson out there, you put Zaven Collins out there. There's a lot of, that's not where I would look to improve the team at this point, especially for $47 million a year. But I do think when one of the best players in the NFL becomes available, you should kick the tires, even if that means you're going to have to do even more roster gymnastics than you are currently doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like they obviously would have looked at the draft a little bit differently. Listen, I'm in the camp that I felt like it was going to be a little bit more balanced, and then Will Johnson was there at 47. It's like, well, Bleep, now you got to go. And then Jordan Burch in the third. Jordan Burch has been a standout. Like, this defense is going to be good. If you told me that Budda Baker is getting all pro votes, I would not be shocked, where he can just finally play his role. So it's super fascinating. I'm super excited to hear about it. Now, I'm going to test you. I kind of not test you. I gave you a little insight into this. I've got this personification theory about the rivalry jerseys for the Arizona Cardinals and why it's kind of a microcosm of where they are. We'll discuss that next. Mark McClune, AZ family, joining me here. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Upside. Like, if you like saving money with, when you're at the gas pump, pay attention. Locked On Cardinals fans, stop leaving money behind. Get ready, real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump using my limited code touchdown and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed, man. At first, I thought this was too good to be true for sure, but you follow the bouncing ball with Upside, and they're absolutely legit. Don't let the offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited code touchdown for a limited time, 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's promo code touchdown. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. All right, Mark McClune, first of all, I'm not sure if you know this, but I hold the at first name, last name, no number necessary Twitter accounts as 1%ers in this world. At Mark McClune, first name, last name. That's high praise. I mean, that's some power to hold. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I got into Twitter early. I think I was like one of the first people in there. No idea what I was doing. Would not want to go back and read any of my early tweets. It was probably, like bad. Remember, like bad pictures. Like none of us knew what we were doing, and you would post this like, "Hey, I'm here at this event," and you're like, I'm 500 miles away from whatever I'm trying to see here. So there's probably a lot of that.
Yeah, it gives me AIM away stories vibe, away message vibe. If we're gonna go back to the analog days. Cardinals roll out their rivalry jerseys yesterday. Super clean. I'll get your thoughts on it. Like, again, these are uniforms. They're gonna be worn. It's not gonna guarantee any sort of victory, but this is my thoughts through that. I have this theory that opposing teams and opposing fans will look at their team's schedule and go check mark, question mark, or X. Win, don't know, loss. The Arizona Cardinals for the last handful of years have been that green check mark for other teams. And then last year you started to transition into the question mark, and now you're starting to transition into the question mark X area where it's like, hey, Cardinals going to win more games than they lose. This is their rivalry era, reintroducing themselves into the NFL as an actual threat every week. That's something that has been devoid from this team since 2021. Last year was kind of a surprise. Is this the reintroduction through Jersey where it's like, hey, the Cardinals are here to stay, or am I overcomplicating things?
I didn't equate the jersey to maybe the reintroduction. I actually just kind of chewing on that now. I think if they beat the Seahawks wearing that jersey, we will. I'm still going back to the Green Bay game when they were the hottest team in football and AJ Green didn't turn around, and you feel like it just everything got wiped out after that. So, I think the West is very winnable, but I don't, I kind of am looking at Seattle right now, not really knowing what we're going to get. Same with San Francisco. You think the Rams will probably be pretty good, but I don't think there's a lot of thought about the Cardinals within the NFC West and with the rivalries. You kind of have to hammer them a couple times. All the times the Cardinals went up to Seattle and spoiled their Sunday. Yeah. And then that was like, oh man, the Cardinals are coming in here. We gotta bring it. We gotta bring it as fans. The team's got to bring it. So, it's. I think the reintroduction. You got to win first, and then you can kind of equate it with the uniform later because everybody remembers how you were dressed when you got to dress for success, I guess.
See, the voice of reason from AZ family. And
first time that's ever been said. Yeah.
For those that are wondering, the Cardinals and Seahawks won't both be wearing their rivalry jerseys where they're both white, that they're wearing them on different games. So for those that were wondering, that's the case. So jerseys themselves, 1 to 10.
I really liked them when they came out. I thought it was a good look. I thought it was going to be looking at the video. I think I said on the pregame show on Saturday, I've watched this video about 400 times to try to figure out what they're telling me. Mm-hmm. And so I guess sand with some red accents. And I think they look good. I like the red socks. I like the red face masks a lot. Somebody held up a tortilla next to it, and I kind of like that kind of spoils it for me because I really like these. I thought the Bills were nice. Yeah. But I had the Cardinals a solid number 2. I can't stand the Rams. I can't stand the Dolphins. And I think they'll look good. I think they'll look sharp at home. We actually got one over here, so I'm going to show that off on the Extra Point tonight at 10:35. The Valley's only local sports television show. And but yeah, it's a different look. And honestly, sometimes like what were the fluorescent uniforms that like the Broncos
Yeah,
wore? Like there was one Thursday night
yeah.
football when Osweiler was playing where you're like, what do you know when your friend like changes their haircut? Like more it happened like younger days when we were in school, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? Like that's not that doesn't look good. Like the Cardinals will take the field, and I think they'll look pretty sharp. I'm excited to see how it's going to look with the background of State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, I remember changing when I had a bowl cut parted down the middle, and I chopped it
Was
off.
that
I went super
last year?
short. Sorry?
Last year?
Oh, dude, if I could still do it, I would. I don't care. Just infuse the 90s into me. But I played basketball, and my dad's like, come on, it's time. We're not headbanding it. We're not headbanding it. But that kind of threw me back. Yeah, like I get it. The state logo shaped in the Arizona State formation, like that's a huge fan favorite. I agree. I think the Bills are the sexiest ones. They're the cleanest. But I want to ask you this because it's uniforms. And this is like the last moment of list season where it's like, we have nothing new to talk about. We can talk about this all we want. Why did they not get new jerseys when the last general manager was here? The moment Monty Osfort came in, he's like, let's get into the 2000s at least. What are we doing here?
Yeah. And I actually just I liked the old jerseys, but I like the Suns with the Steve Nash jerseys. And anybody who will tell like if the Lakers and the Celtics aren't wearing the jerseys that they wore in 1984, like I get angry and don't want to watch the game. So I'm probably too much of a curmudgeon in that space. But I think it took a little while. If you talk to anybody around the team, getting those approved takes forever. So they tried and tried and tried, and that's I don't know that it really coincided with Monty Ossenfort as it just had to get through some legal issues and some marketing issues and stuff like that. But I'm also still really upset the Tennessee Titans wore my Houston Oilers uniforms. I think those should go back to Houston. And anytime I get on any sort of setting where I can say it publicly, it just makes me so angry because I went to high school in Houston, and those jerseys belong back in Houston, not in Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, when the Lakers started wearing the whites at home instead of the gold, that was kind of it. That was kind of it. I mean, and yeah, like again, a full segment on jerseys probably, not entirely the most constructive. One of the more fun ones I've done in the last 2 weeks because we actually have things to talk about. One last thing before I get you out here. Off-ball linebacker, maybe depth at corner, depending upon how quickly Will Johnson can level up. Michael Wilson's role, maybe a little bit of a weaker group, even though Trey McBride's the top pass catcher, even though he's a tight end. Are these weak spots overcomable, circumventable with how strong they are at other spots? Or is this going to be something that they're going to have to learn on the fly, whether they need to add somebody or, adapt as they see fit?
Yeah, and I think a lot of those spots, I don't see a glaring weakness. I mean, I see Max Melton and I see Will Johnson. I'm like, those are two talented guys. Now, Can they figure it out? Because, the NFL goes a lot quicker than college. And, I still am with Will Johnson. Like, let's see his knee hold up. Let's see this guy. Like, we saw him in the national championship. Let's see that guy. I mean, and the Cardinals will tell you that that's the guy. So, like, if they're saying that, they're putting him out there for the opener, they believe that. Davis Gaither is the off-ball linebacker. I haven't really had a chance to see him play as much. I feel like the depth maybe isn't there as much behind him. I mean, Papo, it seems like, he could be making a push for that job, but that doesn't worry me as much because you have such a solid defensive line, and I feel like those guys can learn on the job. And then I feel like Wilson just hasn't. If you put him within another system, maybe he takes off.
Yeah.
I feel like Dortch can take the top off any defense, and having a running game means you have to stack the box, and that should open him up. And again, it's all on Kyler, and I think Kyler knows that. And if he can lead the team down the field, he's got some weapons. He's got a run game. He's got a tight end. He's got a number 4 overall pick receiver. He's got a speedster, and he's got the dependable receiver in Wilson. So, could you upgrade the talent? I think very minimally. And, I mean, unless you went and signed like 5, first round picks or something that were somehow just available out of nowhere. But I think the talent's there, and it's probably just going to get better over time with Ossenport. But I think this team will tell you we have everything we need. The pieces are in place, and they believe it.
Yeah, and another thing I struggle with is when to compare the Cardinals to other organizations and when to not. This is one where you absolutely do it. Look at the bottom 10 offenses. They would yearn for these starting 11, including Kyler Murray. So you got to kind of understand you're not comparing yourself to yourself. You're comparing yourself to what else is out there. And the Cardinals, by and large, have, a three-headed monster with James Conner, Trey McBride, and what Marvin Harris Jr. could be. You could do a lot worse than that. Mark McClune, AZ Family, tell people where they can find you, man.
All right, so find me every evening on Channel 3 at 10:35 and azfamily.com for the extra point. Also on the Z Map. It's the Valley's only night local sports show. And we go, as hard as we can for 30 minutes talking local sports. It's also on replay at CBS 5 at 12:30. And you can watch it live on Arizona's Family Sports, where you could watch all the Cardinals preseason games. And you can watch Suns and Mercury games and high school football games, the Cardinals flag and tackle game of the week. We also just got some Pac-12 programming. You can watch old Arizona State games. And, I think we need to get this podcast on Arizona's Family Sports as well. So, have my people call your people.
Hell yeah, man. Really fun. I'll react to what Mark discussed in the first two segments next. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by Game Time, man. Listen, I've talked about Game Time a whole lot. And, it's just one of those things that just makes things so dang easy when you're looking for tickets, man. NFL season's back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, login screens, prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating. That's why, as I mentioned, I use Game Time. The app gives you the advantage. The app that gives you the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you get. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Today's episode of Locked on Cardinals is also brought to you by another one of my favorites over at Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up and college football isn't far behind. With preseason already over, I can't believe that the season's right around the corner. So whether you've got your eye on big name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. So there's a couple things that they're featuring right now that's pretty awesome. First of all, it's the weekly flyer, okay? They have 2 max discount players where they're giving you a square where the number next to the player is only 0.5 yards, one for Avery Johnson and one for Dak Prescott. Boom, you're in the game. The flex play option is a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you still double your money. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, run your game. A little thing I wanted to bring to people's attention, okay? We have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasters even better. And this is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping us out, man. Mark McClune, great stuff. Sports director over at AZ Family. You can check him out on the Extra Point. He's excited too. As a guy who's been in Phoenix for, almost 20 years covering the team, you see the metamorphosis from the organization. Now, listen, one thing about the jerseys and the last GM and then the new GM, it's probably coincidental. It's probably coincidental. Okay, probably. That's 5 probablys. That's enough. And they're clean. They're awesome. Thursday Night Football, hosting Seattle. It's going to be badass. The way that he talked about Kyler Murray and the way they talked about Will Johnson and Max Melton, how the coaching staff in front of us, they're ready to rip with them. Like, that's got to be comforting. He's closer to the scene than I am. He's there, almost every day. And when you hear from people who are close to it, it reinforces. Is there a chance that this could absolutely blow up in everybody's face? Sure. You can always go back to the old adage, well, it's the Arizona Cardinals. It's not if, it's when. But I can't find a world where the Cardinals win less than 9 games. I can't find a world. Is 9 going to be enough? I don't know. But I'm just saying I can't find a world. One thing I do know is come Monday, we're previewing NFL football. So if you're an everydayer, thank you. I'll talk to you Monday. If this is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals, why don't you check me out Monday too, man? I'm here every day. Cardinal Squad Show tonight at 6 o'clock Pacific or 6 o'clock Arizona time. Myself, Jamil Douglas, Ben Garcia, full hour, interactive, going live. And then we will be on our normal schedule Wednesday of next week, immediately following the game, and so on and so forth throughout the season. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you on Monday.